It's a bright sunny morning here in Davos and a pleasure to have with us India's Commerce and Industry Minister Anand Sharma. Mr. Sharma, you're working overtime in Davos trying to convince foreign investors, global leaders about the India story.
India's story is intact and people do believe that this is a country which is bound to grow, which is promise and potential and the inherent strength when it comes to our systems and our economy. And that's very clear. There's discernible interest, expressed interest in India by the investors, and it's better than last year. In fact, we have all the major CEOs who are present here have met with me, quite a few. Others have sought meetings, and the participation in the investors roundtable is very rich.
But the concern really to many people who we've been talking to here in Davos is the outcome of the upcoming elections, because that will clearly in many ways determine the economic direction as well. The fact remains that many foreign brokerages as well as business leaders here are now saying that they're perhaps wanting change at the center. A government led by Narendra Modi, according to them, would be more business friendly, would push the economic agenda.
How can they decide? It is the people
It is,
of
India.
India.
The people of India who
And
decide.
let me also tell you,
that's the view coming from the business side.
I don't get it at all, because the people are wise. The credit of reforms, the credit of economic growth, liberalization, and the sound FDI policy belongs to the Congress. Beginning with the 90s, when Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, and we have continued throughout the UPA 2 and 1. Look at the NDA regime. After all, who is Modi? Modi is a nominee of RSS and BJP. During the NDA regime, 2000 to 2004, less than 26 billion US dollar of FDI came in. And the total FDI up to 2012 is 309 billion. In the last 4 years, it is 176 billion. So if the investors had more confidence there in their policy and their approach, which actually is not reform oriented at all. And secondly, about Modi in particular, let me be very clear. I do not know on what basis. When you look at Gujarat, what is the Gujarat model? All states of India have attracted FDI, but Gujarat is at low number 6. And the recent reports of the manufacturing, Gujarat is from the bottom at number 6, not from the top.
Okay, so these are of course
No, there's another
facts and
important
figures
thing
that are always debated, but the fact
No,
remains,
not debated. These are the facts.
We've seen a sharp slowdown that has taken place. There is disillusionment on part of corporate India, on part of foreign investors, or the kind of slowdown that we've seen in India. There's also been a remarkable political development, the emergence of the Aam Aadmi Party.
Let me first answer your question on Modi.
Okay.
You see, it's important to remember, it's not a question of something is debatable. There are published figures of the Reserve Bank of India. Gujarat is at number 6 in FDI. The highest is Maharashtra, 63 billion. Gujarat is at 8 billion. Nobody can dispute that.
Right.
Number 2, Modi is not at all reform-oriented. The credit belongs to us. If he was reform-minded, why did he oppose the GST? Why did he oppose the multi-brand retail? I don't think he has an economic vision at all. Was there any comprehension of economics? And it would be prejudging. Change, when people talk of change, change has to be for the better. Change cannot be for the worst, which sets the country back. And it is only wishful thinking. Democracies decide, and I'm sure that the people of India have the maturity and wisdom to do so.
Sure. You talked about FDI, and there particularly the fact remains that a particular policy that your government has pushed forward, even though it's not resulted in too many players coming in, but FDI and multi-brand retail, that's a policy that has been opposed not just by the BJP but also by the Aam Aadmi Party, something that you were very upset with, the fact that they decided to reverse it.
They cannot reverse.
In Delhi.
They cannot reverse.
Legally they cannot.
No, it is a national policy, is with the central government.
But states have the right to decide.
No, the states were given the option to join or not to join.
Right.
Those states which exercised the option through a resolution of their cabinet, those were elected governments in office, and the decisions were taken. Those states who did not join.
Changing government doesn't mean that this.
No, there cannot be policy reversal. It's not a revolving door. Yeah. It's an option given, is not a daily option, and we are a rule-based, mature democracy. We can't make India a banana republic that every day a new option is exercised. It's highly irresponsible.
Is this something that resonates here in Davos? The fact that we're seeing too many policy flip-flops.
There are no flip-flop. There has been continuity and stability and predictability.
This is seen as a flip-flop.
No, there is a flip-flop.
So right
On what
now,
basis?
when you're meeting a multi-brand retail player here in
They don't have concerns. They are
Davos,
coming.
so what are you telling them about the Delhi market?
Why
Are
do
they
I have
allowed
to tell them? Why do I have to
The
tell
fact
them?
remains the Delhi government doesn't want it.
No, the Delhi government has exercised the option. That is the law.
Right.
It's not that you can,
But there's been a change in government and we have to accept it.
I'm sorry. There's never been a policy reversal in India. There's stability of the policy. I'm making it absolutely clear that when we created the policy as a democracy, we gave the option to the states. So
But it's the same democracy that has elected.
no, you
a
cannot.
government,
You cannot have a daily change. I'm sorry. Option is English language is very clear. To exercise the option, there was an elected government in office then or not. That government took the decision. This government does not have even a majority of its own.
And that's the larger question that we keep asking all the time. The Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party are not seeing eye to eye on most issues. So why does the Congress continue to support the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi?
You see, we never wanted a political vacuum. So let's see if they can deliver.
And
We are very clear that the way they have functioned so far, what Delhi, the national capital, is witnessing is populism bordering anarchy.
Populism bordering anarchy, but we've seen your government making some populist announcements as well.
No,
Rahul
please,
Gandhi,
please, you can't.
Gandhi at AICC session saying the number of subsidized cylinders will be increased
let
from
me-
9 to 12 as a populist move.
No, I'm extremely sorry. We have poor households who are dependent on gas.
But
We
it's
don't
your-
have piped gas or metered gas even in the national
But
capital
it's
of Delhi.
your government that had justified those 9
Well,
cylinders.
yes,
saying
there was
it's enough.
demand from the women from rural households all over. Surely one day the dependence will come down when there is piped and metered gas in the country. But you can't compare what is being done by those who claim and very loudly make the statement that they are anarchists with increasing 3 gas cylinders. Means that is a very unfair
No, I'm
comparison.
talking about populism because that's
No,
what
this
we're
is not
seeing right
populism.
now.
No, this is
ahead
not
of elections. Increasing the LPG cylinders is perhaps
Listen,
populism.
we have always believed in the concept of a welfare state. We have believed in creating social security net. We want a balance when it comes to India's growth. It has to be inclusive and sustainable. It's part of that process. If there was a demand, democracies listen to people's demand. But it's not something that we are doing strange things on a daily basis. We are a very responsible government. And we can't be compared to others. And I would like to go on record. There has been unfair targeting and excessive vilification. There's a government which has delivered well. There are sound policies in place. We have opened up FDI, which has resonated with the investors. I do not know on what basis this is being said that there are concerns. The fact is that the latest reports, whether you talk of the investment agencies, hedge funds, are now placing India at number 1 as the best, most favored investment destination. Ernst & Young, World Bank latest report says that India is going to grow at 6.2% this year, 7.4% next year. That would be the GDP growth.
Right, so clearly the government trying to at least say that all is
It's
well
not the
with
government
India.
is saying.
And of course
The
these
world is
reports-
saying, even during the period of economic downturn, India has remained one of the first 3 favored destinations. India has never slipped.
All right, going forward, of course, we know elections are around the corner. The government, UPA government on its part doing some bit of damage control here, saying all is well despite the slowdown.
Not all is well. There are challenges and we have the capacity to grapple with the situation.
The fact remains that many believe that Congress's prime ministerial candidate Rahul Gandhi is possibly...
Have you declared any candidate?
Which is yesterday the finance minister here said he's 100% certain
No.
Rahul Gandhi will be prime minister.
Listen,
so that the fact
there are
remains
two
is still
issues.
that
There are
there
two
is still
issues.
Confusion
One
there.
is that when we get the majority, we, as a responsible party, the members of parliament then will elect. Surely he is the leader. He will be leading the campaign. He's the vice president of the
But
Congress
is
party.
he the prime ministerial candidate?
We don't announce. The Congress has never done it.
But
We are
it's
not a
it's
presidential form of government.
It's an unstated.
No.
We seem to be seeing the Congress speaking in many different voices.
I find it very immature
some
that in a
spokespeople
parliamentary
say-
form of government, people are talking of a presidential model. We are a constitutional parliamentary democracy where there is a government in office, there is a prime minister in office.
But here the Congress is saying we are not declaring Rahul Gandhi as the prime ministerial candidate, but it's
Don't we
obvious
have
that
a
he
government which is
It's obvious
functioning
that he is.
and a prime minister? Yes, he will be the leader.
He will
But
be
we
the,
don't have
he'll
to
be the
announce.
Prime Minister if Congress comes to power.
Let's see. I'm sure that people have faith. There has to be a generational change. Congress has always believed in that. But let's not go beyond what the Congress Working Committee has decided, what Congress President has said, and what Rahul Gandhi himself has said. He is very clear that we'll fight the election, we will overcome the challenges, and we will not be overwhelmed. Let's now look towards the elections and prepare for that. Narendra Modi perhaps has no understanding of India's constitution. It is he who is too eager. That's why he has been addressing rallies from the replicas, the ramparts of the replicas of the Red Fort, and that he'll continue to do. He's more than welcome to do that. But he must understand that it is not Obama and Mitt Romney debate. We have issues from state to state. He is only a Chief Minister of Gujarat and the RSS nominee for the Prime Minister's election. That's their decision. We have no quarrel with that. But it's not that the people of India have already decided. He's behaving as if he has already become.
All right.
And what he said the other day, he unveiling his vision, that was a sham. That confirmed one thing, that he is absolutely hollow. He has no geostrategic vision, no comprehension of issues, and just words.
Of course, ahead of elections, we will see more and more political noise, and this will clearly continue. But here in Davos now, are foreign investors concerned about any particular issues? Is political uncertainty bothering them? The fact that there have
Where is the political uncertainty? Listen, after 1980s, for the first time, India has had stable government for 10 years. Let's not forget that. So where is the instability? Where are people getting all these words? When we were rolling out policies, taking decisions, we rolled out the biggest policy, national manufacturing policy. When we are building industrial corridors, we are building infrastructure, attracting a very high FDI. People are saying policy paralysis. There has never been a paralysis. There is no instability. Yes, democracies do see ups and downs. But it does not mean that we as a nation are going to opt for either a reverse gear or instability. Yes, I have no doubt that if there is a situation of a fractured mandate, that will be bad for the country. But this is the difference between the Congress and the BJP. We'll wait for the outcome. Then our MPs will sit and take a decision. Yes, and there is no doubt Rahul Gandhi will lead the campaign. He has been made the chairman of the campaign committee, and the rest of the party will work together.
All right, here's wishing you all the very best for the elections and for Davos, where you're clearly trying to tell foreign investors that India remains an attractive
and India will always be.
Thank you so much, Mr. Minister.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
talking to you all,
Thank
as
you.
always. Thank you.